please welcome Ryan to the stage.
Funny zigzagging and trying to navigate through all those seats. How's everybody doing? It's a really intimate environment. I like it. I'm going to sit here. So my name's Ryan Wyatt. Like you heard, I run the gaming team at YouTube. But wanted to give a background real quick before I kick things off, just for some of you that may not know who I am. So I actually had a pretty interesting background working both as my ADD is going to eat this up. As a content creator and as kind of on the professional industry side. So I was a esports commentator for 7 or 8 years, was a Twitch streamer for 3 or 4 years, and then all while was working kind of on the business side. So I was juggling both of these two kind of tasks. So I started my career at Major League Gaming, running our online tournament business. A lot of you may know that as Game Battles. I went on to Machinima in the early days of Machinima when it was just starting off running community. We started the multi-channel network business. That's where we started to roll up channels and became a bigger part of YouTube. And then started up Live and Esports Initiative there as well before going back to MLG where I ran programming there. That's what ultimately led me to YouTube about 4.5, 5 years ago, where they didn't have a gaming team. YouTube was still figuring out what do we need to do in this space? How do we specialize in this vertical? It's clearly a big business to us. And so that's where I came in and was fortunate enough to join that team. So a lot of you guys know in 2015, we decided to launch YouTube Gaming, which was an app. It was a standalone destination, basically taking the gaming corpus of YouTube, mirroring that content and putting it on basically a standalone experience. At the time, it was a really good idea because we needed to do a handful of things. It was very evident that we were experiencing a lot of competitive pressure in the space by vertical specialists. So you had Facebook Gaming and Mixer and Twitch and just these different platforms that were getting in the space that were offering very specific products that gamers needed. YouTube lacked a lot of those products. So we had to rebuild live streaming. So live was something that we had on YouTube. We had done the Olympics, some presidential inaugurations, but we had never really made it so anybody could just stream. So we had to rebuild the live infrastructure, make it much easier to go live, rebuild the live chat system, come up with alternative monetization solutions outside the ad business, work on search and discovery, which on a platform that was inherently VOD up until this point, how do you integrate live streaming into it where both worlds can be kind of welcomed in it? So we spent a lot of time doing that, building game pages for discoverability. So if you would search Minecraft, instead of just figuring out what that person actually wanted to watch, we'd surface up a game page for Minecraft. You could go deeper, find different categories. You want live, VOD, Let's Plays, certain different elements of the game. So we built all of this. The one learning that we had, which was pretty interesting, was everything that we were building for gamers and prioritizing for gamers actually was applicable to a lot of non-gamers. So live streaming can be for everybody, right? It doesn't need to be just a gaming thing. The chat system and how you interact, those are broadly applicable. So alternative monetization, how do you make money outside just our YouTube ads business? All of these things ended up proving out to be pretty beneficial to the broader creator ecosystem. So we continue to move these products over into YouTube. So finally, we said in just recently in 2018, we said there's no point in having a standalone experience where we have all of these features living. 99% of the watch time that was happening across gaming content was happening on YouTube, not YouTube Gaming, the app. So we moved everything over into YouTube. Gaming is one of the biggest businesses on YouTube. It's growing very fast. It continues to grow fast across the industry. So we said, let's continue to focus all of these feature sets and make sure that we build this home of gaming, all of these products that gamers need, that the users are asking for, that publishers want, just build it in the YouTube experience. So that's how we got to where we are today, where we embrace the gaming vertical. We have a specialized business across marketing, PR, content, finance, legal, product, engineering that all specialize in gaming, but we don't have to manage this independent standalone app anymore. So in 2018, we had our biggest year ever. We were really excited about it. It was fun to see kind of all the efforts that have culminated, and we actually had more than 200 million people that came. Sorry, I cut through that. We had 200 million people logged in every single day that was watching gaming content, right? So 200 million people logged in and they're consuming gaming content globally. That accumulated to over 50 billion hours of gaming watch time. So if you had to put 50 billion in context, it would be if you walk to Pluto and back a dozen times, right? So it's a pretty tremendous amount of gaming watch time. And what we really wanted to focus on is we're a video platform for gaming, right? VR video, mobile gaming, live streaming, video on demand. It's a lot of things to a lot of people, but we wanted to make sure that when people come into YouTube, that it's a one-stop shop for anything that you want in gaming. You don't have to go to multiple platforms. You don't have to go to a lot of different places. So you look at E3 as kind of like our North Star example of that. E3, when you come in, what's happening at E3? Well, there's live press conferences. There's trailers being released. There's people doing editorial reviews via video. There's actually people live streaming, giving real-time reviews, critique of the press conferences. You've got to go to a lot of different places if you want to pull that in. Editorial outlets, maybe you go to Twitch, maybe you go to Facebook Gaming, maybe you go to Mixer. And what we want to do is make sure when you come into YouTube for these big moments, whether it's a big Fortnite in-game world event or E3, that everything that you need is here on the platform. Another thing that's been really interesting that we've been focusing on is global, right? A lot of these press conferences I go to, or these conferences in general, we're talking with a very much a Western point of view. And that's fine. I think there's a lot to say about what the mature markets have been doing in the gaming space. What I've found to be more exciting and interesting of late is what's happening in our international markets. And looking at that is one example is up here we have a creator that's from India. So India, by the way, incredible market. Basically 12 to 18 months ago, non-existent consumption of gaming video, right? Like people were not watching gaming video in India last year. Mobile gaming, particularly PUBG Mobile, just absolutely erupted in this market, and it changed the creator ecosystem and the user ecosystem, and now gaming is one of the fastest growing content categories in India. So back here is just somebody that's streaming mobile gaming, right? They're streaming their live stream of PUBG Mobile, and it had 100,000 concurrent. We talk about this. When you look at like a Ninja or a Dr. Disrespect at any given time, these are like aspirational numbers that they try to hit at big moments. So this is a streamer that's a mobile gaming streamer out of India playing PUBG Mobile, putting in numbers that are comparable to Fortnite's biggest live streamers in space. So it's a pretty interesting shift that's happening in the market. And you're seeing it not just with PUBG Mobile in India, you're seeing it with places like Garena Free Fire and so forth. And so we've been really, really captivated by what is happening in some of these non-English speaking markets. Again, using the Gref, who's a Spanish speaking creator. He was live streaming his 10 million subscriber landmark. So he was there, he's waiting for the 10 million mark to officially hit, just live streaming a counter of that. And he had over 300,000, 400,000 people come in and watch him. Lachlan, who's an Australian-based creator, basically exports all of his content outside of Australia to English-speaking markets. He just hit 10 million subscribers. So we're starting to see this shift outside of just US and Europe, where these creators are really, really making themselves household names and becoming some of the biggest global gaming superstars that a lot of us aren't having in conversation. Again, another mobile gaming example, which I thought was really cool. This is also recently in April, this month actually. So it was Garena is basically hosting their Garena Free Fire World Finals. And it's out of Bangkok. And this one was particularly for Brazil. It hit 405,000 peak concurrent viewers in Brazil, mobile game esports tournament, right? Like, this is funny because no one's really talking about this. We talk about Overwatch and League of Legends and Call of Duty and some of these other esports. It's pretty amazing that we are starting to see the mobile gaming hit numbers that are equivalent of like tier 1 esports. They might not be happening in US markets or European markets, but they are happening in Latin America and Asia. So I guess kind of to break this all down, what does this all mean for YouTube gaming in 2019? So I look at kind of our business that's 3 different buckets. We got to focus on clearly our content creator ecosystem, very imperative. We need to focus on our game publishers as well, right? Like none of this happens without the game developers, and they're kind of the unsung heroes often in these conversations. Creators make a lot of unique content from those games. There's a lot to thank there, and the creators are the backbone of why a lot of the community is there. So making sure that the community feels that they are too welcomed, where when they come, they can identify as a gamer. They feel that the content that they're looking for is on the platform, no matter how they identify. Mobile gaming, if it's different gender, if it's different content types, different formats. We want to make sure that everyone feels welcome when they come into YouTube that's a gamer. And so we're kind of focused on a couple key areas in order to do that. It's building great products in general, right? And I want to talk a little bit about some of the products that we're focusing on. So a big area that we've been spending time on is alternative monetization. So yeah, we have a robust ads business. We focus on the ads business. It is a very important part of how creators are generating revenue on the platform, but we want to be able to offer different revenue streams for our creator community and how they can continue to build it. So a couple of these features that we built was super stickers and super chat. So different ways that a user could go in, pay a donation to their favorite creator, and have their message prominently displayed in the chat or using a sticker as well. So we've seen a lot of success. These are great for live streaming, but we're still figuring out how do we make this more applicable to VOD so that we can continue to bring gaming creators that really don't care about the live streaming business and are really big on VOD, how they can tap into these products as well. So we're doing a lot of experiments across the board, but these are two products that we stood up and have had a lot of success on the live streaming side with. The other, which is really exciting, is channel memberships. And this is a common feature across a lot of platforms. We're trying to put kind of the YouTube spin on it. So channel memberships is great, right? You get kind of what the basic market expectations are. You're paying a recurring subscription and you're getting emotes, you're getting some kind of exclusive chat access, and you're getting some kind of connection with the creator. We also want to give the creators a lot of autonomy on what are the tiers of pricing that they want, what kind of value do they want to put towards it, what kind of things do they want to put behind the paywall? Do they want to list videos behind the paywall? Do they want to put exclusive merch behind the paywall? We're giving them basically all of the tools to curate whatever they want behind the paywall to drive more monetization for the YouTube gaming creators. The next big one is merch, right? So I think if you talk a lot of top creators, and especially the ones that are aspiring, just about to be really big creators, so maybe they're looking for what's going to differentiate them being able to leave their full-time job and become a full-time creator, merch is a big one. They start to build up a lot of brand loyalty, users are engaged. Before, YouTube creators basically had to do an annotation or an end card that would drive them off to like a Teespring website or whatever it may be. As you go up the funnel more, the higher with the creators, they're doing their own kind of custom solutions. But right before that, there's a lot of people that are tapping into things like Teespring. So what this allows is essentially a native experience for people to purchase anything from a Teespring store and any of the merch line for that creator. So this is Afmal. She's one of our biggest gaming creators on the platform. She's kind of got her merch shelf underneath it, and people are able to go in, and it's available in 18 countries. Still considered in beta. We're rolling it out. Obviously, we want to be in every country. We want to figure out different partners we can work with to make sure that it's an integrated experience. But merch has been something that we've found pretty successful in having, again, the central theme of being a one-stop shop for our creators that they can monetize, they can feature what they're doing across their business. And then stories. So obviously not an innovation on our end, but a very, very cool product, and how we're using it is quite different. So obviously influencers have, you know, Instagram and Snapchat, and they're using that with frequency to be able to share these kind of bite-sized stories with their fans. Unfortunately, they can't plug in with Instagram and Snapchat with their entire subscriber base. So we looked at, you know, stories as a really great way of, one, what do we do to put our spin on it? Again, making the video available for 7 days instead of 24 hours. Making sure that when creators feel like they want to interact with their audience, but they don't want it to have to be a big edited video or a live stream, that they can still communicate with their subscribers and still engage with them. It's obviously very important on YouTube to continue to always be engaging and working with your subscribers and speaking to them. And I think sometimes burnout can come from creators want to do that, but then they feel like, I got to live stream every day, I got to upload a video every day. And so this gives you a way to communicate with your audience without having to do kind of all the cumbersome process it takes to edit a video or go live for the day. We also thought about this with community posts, which is another way that they can post and share. So these are feature sets that allow them to speak with their subscriber base without having it having to be such a big burden to them. Premieres, which is also another really cool feature that we launched, is it's been great use cases for, you know, theatrical releases, music videos. Game publishers have had great success with game trailers on it, and something we've been using with creators. It's a way that you can show what would be a VOD or a video on demand and put it in a live element and environment. Rebuilt the YouTube live broadcast and control room, so essentially allowing people to go live easier. Got a bunch of great creator feedback on how we can make it easier. So this makes it incredibly seamless to go live, and all you can focus on is the health of your broadcast, how many people are chiming in on Super Chat or channel membership subscriptions, making the chat really fluid, and so basically a one-stop shop for all things that you need to do. So working with creators has also been something, obviously, as you can imagine, that they're the lifeblood of YouTube, and we need to focus on it. 7 out of the top 10 creators globally are gaming creators. Even more interesting when I talk about focusing on international markets, 77 of the top 100 YouTube creators in Europe are gaming creators, right? So gaming creators are a disproportionate top part of YouTube creators, and that's why we've got to continue to work with them and figure out creative solutions on a product side with them. Nick A has been a great experience for us and a great example, right? So here's somebody that just in the past year completely blew up on the platform. He started just as being a live streamer on YouTube, wanted to be kind of a first mover into the space as we were getting more ramped up on live streaming. He's a really successful Fortnite player. He's averaging 30 to 40,000 concurrent every time he goes live. He's got a really great cadence of how is he uploading his content, what does he do with his live stream, very consistent programming, and he sets those expectations with his audience that he's going to live stream daily, maybe even twice a day, that those videos will ultimately go unlisted because he's going to upload edited short form video content. And so he's got really healthy growth, not only because he's in Fortnite and he's in live streaming on YouTube, but because he's got a perfect content cadence that he adheres to, and he has a great communication line with all of his viewers of, this is the content you can expect on my channel, this is when you can expect it. So he's not only relying on certainly people subscribing and search and recommendation, but he has tune-in behavior, people knowing when they come back to his channel at that time and that part of the day, they can expect Nick and they know what content to expect. So he's like a perfect example of what you want to do as a creator, regardless of if you're a publisher or if you're a YouTube endemic creator. This is what you want. You want to have clear expectations of what your content programming is on your channel. Another thing that we've been trying to focus on is the bigger we get, there's a lot more problems that come with that. And that's making creators who are coming up feel like they can get a spotlight, that they still have a chance to be a YouTube creator. And they do, right? Like, we have grown to 200 some million logged in users. That is substantially higher than it was 4 or 5 years. So yes, there's more creators out there, but there are also more users coming into YouTube than we've ever had before looking for gaming content. So one thing we built out was called Gaming Creator on the Rise. So each week we put a new creator up there. We launched it in US and Japan as a beta. We're going to continue to roll it out in more markets. It obviously takes some work to continue to roll it out, but this spotlights a smaller creator that's doing a great job, that is starting to see a hockey stick in growth, and we want to help accelerate and put them up on the forefront. So it's a great way to showcase creators who are doing amazing content that you might otherwise not have been introduced to. Another thing that we're doing with creators, which I think is pretty interesting, and this doesn't have as much scale, but it's really intimate, hands-on experiences, and that's what gives us both good feedback and continues to help creators grow. So we call it Next Up, and it's basically a boot camp with creators from 10,000 to 100,000 subscribers. They're looking to make the jump into being a full-time YouTube gaming creator. They're probably not quite there. They're making money off of it that's pretty respectable, but not enough to make the full commitment of, this is going to be my life moving forward. And so we set up these boot camps across the world. Our next one's in Mexico City. We'll be doing another one later in the year in India. And this is a great opportunity for us to kind of work with the creators and get them set up, give them tips on what equipment they should be using, where are they coming up short on products. So do we need to give them a new webcam or a new mic, or do they not have the computer they need to stream? And this is a great opportunity to work with them. And then, again, we learn a tremendous amount by doing so. So it's a great boot camp that we do. And then lastly, the last bucket is working with game publishers. So we have 2 really cool examples up here, both from Anthem and Star Wars. So Anthem did a great job of debuting their game. They used premieres on YouTube, they followed all of the best practices, and they found success doing this. So a lot of what we're trying to work with the game publishers on it is, not all of them have the wheelhouse to continuously put out 2, 3 videos a week and be able to keep up with that content cadence of a creator. So how do we still make a splash when they want to create content? And so we've been working with them very closely on, how do you get best practices around your trailer? How do you launch it? And this was cool. They basically launched the trailer through Premiere. So they had a countdown timer. They had a moment in time that they celebrated that everybody flooded and came into. So essentially it's just the trailer, but it was like a debut of it. And they had great success. It went on to, 20,000 some people watched that live, and millions ended up watching it afterwards. You have Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which just came out as well. Different strategy. Did not use did not use the Premiere feature, but went out with a live stream, and their live stream crushed it. I mean, they had 90,000 concurrent watching in real time their live stream as they debuted it. It was most watched on any platform for the live event. They went on then to have this great trailer out that did 10 million views as well. So again, it's a couple of like, they're approaching it with the live streaming and on the VOD side, right? And how we help them have those two-pronged approach. Another thing that we're doing is account linking. So basically authenticating, we did this with Supercell, we're gonna do it with many more developers. Authenticating your publisher account on YouTube so you can get rewarded for watching content, watching big tentpole events, and it's a really cool way for users to connect with the game developer while watching content. So we had great success during Clash Royale's World League, being able to watch the event, link your Supercell ID, be rewarded with gems for watching and participating in it. And so it's a great experience. We're going to continue to do that with more developers. So stay tuned for that as we launch more account linking programs this year. I know I'm short on time too, so I'll go through these a little bit quicker. I guess, again, I spoke about community posts again. So making sure people are engaged, right? So this is one of our Fortnite streamers. His name is Avery. He used the community post as a way to engage with his audience. He was struggling with the same reasons I was speaking about before of, I can't create videos, I can't live stream 12 hours a day, it's really demanding. He found this to be a great way to continue to interact while taking the pressure off of always having to feel like he's got to live stream every single day to continue to grow his audience. So talk a little bit kind of about what next phases are for YouTube gaming. We want to continue to focus on growing our watch time and users, and as the markets expand, making sure that we continue to focus on what shifts are happening in the market. Stadia, as I'm sure you guys heard about, will be a really exciting part of that. I think we're going to start seeing the lines blur between watching and playing on YouTube. Like, you can fully expect that. I don't know, for those that saw the Stadia announcement, there's a cool YouTube integration that you're able to kind of queue up and play with live streamers. So we're really excited about the opportunities that Stadia presents us now and into the future of what we can do, of blurring those lines, of being able to fluidly go from watching to playing, and what kind of experiences we can create by doing that. What kind of games will come from that experience. And so very excited to see these two worlds collide, and working with Phil is going to be awesome. Mobile gaming, again, if I could have you all take one thing away from this room, mobile gaming has always been big in our industry, but not necessarily people watching content generated from mobile games. We've been pretty focused on it because as mobile games, as hardware and mobile phones become more sophisticated, games will as well, and you'll see a lot more content consumption. And so out of our top 15 games, 4 of them are mobile games globally, right? So Free Fire, Arena, Valor, PUBG Mobile, so keep an eye on those that are coming out. And lastly, again, finding new ways to monetize. So we are going to continue to invest in products that allow creators to monetize their business outside of just the ads business. Obviously, we'll always focus on the ads business. It's a big part of it, but we want to give creators more tools to monetize. And again, I think at the end of the day, our goal is to be a gaming video platform for everyone. So we are focused on a diversity of games, genres, content categories, and so forth. And we're looking forward to kind of continuing being involved as we shape the future of gaming together. So that's it. Thanks for letting me go over my time a little bit. I appreciate it. Thank you.